I sort of have a different topic today, which is sort of, I guess, in some ways, sciencey, philosophical. But I've always been fascinated by science fiction movies, in which people sort of talk about how machines come alive and these questions as to whether a machine can become conscious, And I frankly have always kind of found it kind of cringe, because what it really does is show an example of how humans are so anthropomorphic in terms of their view of the world, that we turn everything into ourselves. When we conceive of God, of course, it has to look like a man, right? It couldn't look like anything else. We only see ourselves when we look at the universe. And so, I remember watching Terminator however many years ago, and I remember, as invariably happens when somebody is giving the viewpoint of a computer, one of these slaughter bots that runs around killing people, you're looking through a viewing screen, and you're looking around at the people that you're killing, and it's really an interesting way of looking at the world. The idea that you think that something is looking out, that what is it that imbues an individual creature with the ability to see outward and to be what it is. And I think the answer to that is that may well be beyond our capability to understand. That what it is that animates something and gives us life and has us the ability to see out into the world is something we may very well never understand, and certainly don't if we're ascribing that to something like, artificial intelligence or a computer. It's on the surface, in my opinion. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. It's certainly about 10 billion people smarter than me, but it's like saying your toaster is looking at you when it's sitting there on the counter. It's just like machines aren't that. It's not what it is, and it's our misunderstanding of how complicated the universe is, and how we're unable to understand and even contemplate the unknown, to the part where we run into something that's unknown and we make up a story about it, which is really how we came to religion.